specified. I asked, but we could use something, and I'm happy to ad-lib something for you or ad hoc. One thing that has really gone well is being human in the age of digital innovation. So it looks at things such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and what is, say, being human in the future really look like with those new technologies in place. I have been giving that talk before. It actually was asked by a client if I could cover something on artificial intelligence and blockchain. And being in the computer science world, I still code every day. I have a computer science degree. I know a good amount about blockchain, artificial intelligence. I took classes on it. I've implemented things. I have right now a robot right now during this call working artificial intelligence as we speak. So I'm familiar with it. And I started lecturing on that in the past year. And it's something I want to involve more in my brand is the technology side, because there's very few people who can say give lectures and also articulate technical things in technology. It's very rare. And so I thought maybe if I start talking about it more. Humans are going through an interesting shift right now. If you think about it from, say, a 30,000-foot view, typically we were the outside creators, right? You can look back, we were creating a vehicle, we were creating, say, a boat, a ship, basically to solve certain pain points and desires that we had. And the shift that's starting to happen is that the technology itself is learning from us and evolving. And you might say, that sounds crazy. Is that really happening? And of course, I'm sure everyone who will be listening to this has a phone, has searched on Google, and each time they search on Google, the results get a little bit more custom to them. And what's happening is that technology is starting to reflect more of who we are real time. And so instead of us being, say, a creator, we're becoming actually an active participant in the development of technology, whether or not we're aware of it. So this is the whole overarching debate with artificial intelligence, blockchain on there is, will, say, technology be something that would be advantageous, or would it be something that we have to be scared of on there? I am more on the cynical side on there, and I'm not worried about technology per se. I'm worried about people who may have ill intentions with technology, will make technology evil. So instead of there being, if you ever watched Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Instead of it being that dystopia probably could exist if, say, someone who had ill intentions behind artificial intelligence. Are we close to that? No, but there are things that we can do with technology that we never could have fathomed before. For instance, with all the data that people are basically giving large organizations like Google and whatnot, they can find exactly when you're going to buy something and why you want to buy it. They can listen in on your conversations and give you advertisements for exactly what you want to buy. And what this does is the human mind's like a lock. And if you find something that you really, really like, I don't know if you've ever played Candy Crush or a certain game and you absolutely love it, you wonder, why do I love this so much? And the reason for that is there's companies like Google that will spend millions and millions of dollars on psychologists doing research on how does the human mind work. And basically they're trying to unravel it like a lock in order to get something more and more and more addictive. And it keeps us online, because the longer we're online, the more ad spend, etc. So I think right now it's so new and happening so fast, we're not able to put, say, those restrictions on it. And slowly but surely we are, but there's this constant battle of us catching up to what technology is actually doing on there, right? So I think if the overarching question is it something we should be worried of? I think more yes than no. So let's just say it is a tool, right? And the whole goal of technology is to make things easier for people's lives. What's happening right now with technology is that, as you probably can be very well of, is that it's advancing more and more and more each year, right? Moore's law doubling, every 18 months. And while that sounds great, there's a consequence to that. And that is the whole fear of, say, automation. And that is when you can, say, create technology to a certain level, it removes certain jobs. Now, why should we be worried about that? Well, the problem is that it's already removing jobs, and there's a large group of individuals who are, say, not able to replace jobs that technology is currently doing. And then they sort of become obsolete. in that way. And if you look at a curve, right, and you see how fast technology is advancing compared to, say, our general intelligence, there's a part where they're going to cross. And that's the whole automation tool factor. And a lot of, say, computer science people would often say out there is, well, this is a way that we can only do the things that we want in life. Okay, but people still have to work. And this is a scary part where technology is this sort of tsunami that's coming in and taking jobs in that respect. For instance, even my own company, I had several positions that were taking an enormous amount of overhead during this time of coronavirus. And I had to lay off several employees. But instead, I laid off the employees and I replaced it with technology. And that job will never be again involved in my company because of technology. That's in a very micro scale on there. If you can imagine a large society on there, it's going to create a lot of issues, and it currently is, right? You look at, say, Amazon warehouses, and there's the automated robots that now can move packages throughout there. That used to be people. You look at Las Vegas, right? Nevada, Sin City, and they now have automated vehicles in there. Now, are there people there who are watching the automated vehicles? Yes. But what happens a lot is people are behind the curve, because I don't know if you remember this, but about a year ago, there were riots, and not riots, but more of a protest of Lyft and Uber drivers when they went public. And they said, we want some of the stock because we're driving. And I'm thinking they're a little behind the curve because they have automated cars. Lyft and Uber are developing automated vehicles, which will then make their jobs obsolete in 10 years, 10, 20 years. Depends how long the society will be comfortable with automated vehicles, right? Point being is the tool side of things, it will replace certain things. So it puts this enormous amount of pressure on society to further increase one's ability in this world. It's no longer that you can just sit there doing a monotonous job. Those jobs are being completely disrupted. And I've witnessed this on both the macro scale of, say, complete industries, like let's say the publishing industry is completely slashed, or small businesses like mine, where there'll be certain monotonous jobs, and I can spend maybe a month, make a program, and replace their work. So in a tool perspective, it's having a lot of impact on society. Not in that scenario. I would actually argue with Pedro on that and debate him, because let's say you're running the cab company, right? Are you going to pay someone to sit there and talk to a customer? Maybe that customer there is like on a subway. Like imagine on a subway, everyone's looking at their phone or reading a book. They're not trying to talk to people around them, right? So chances are it'll be more of that process of being heads down on there. So I think that case wouldn't work. But there's an interesting point you're bringing up. And here's where we're seeing the limitations of technology. With coronavirus, we're forced into isolation, remote work. And I've been handling remote workforces since 2014. So I'm very aware of like, okay, it feels very lonely, isolated. Everyone's feeling that right now. And there's a lot of aspects with human nature that need to take place in person with technology. And this is coming from someone who's in computer science, who has virtual employees, has all of that. And the power behind that is, so I have teams from people from all over the world. And this past December, we flew everyone out to an island for the first time. We were all going to meet each other. And when we met each other, the level of engagement and excitement on the team skyrocketed. Even though we were talking every single day online, until we met each other in person, there was that real connection. So I think from that argument, I believe that you can make a very strong case that technology cannot replace that human relationship, nor will it ever. It's almost like the whole purpose of technology is for us to find some way of meeting people who are similar like us in person. And you can look at things like dating apps. The whole point is you're meeting virtually, but eventually you are in person, and that's where you make those deeper connections on there. No one, I think, would make a case that you can have a stronger connection virtually than in person on there. But technology is sort of an easier bridge to make that human relationship on there. And that's where I do agree with Pedro on that. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the ORP conference that's taking place on September 16th to 18th, 2020 in Cartagena, Colombia. There, I'll be speaking on being human in the age of digital innovation, how technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence are changing our world, and what that means for what we are as humans existentially. I look forward to seeing you there.